Let's look at some mixture problems for math for college algebra. Jasna has 70 milliliters of a 50% methane solution. How much of an 80% solution must she add? So the final solution is 60%. Find the equation. So we have milliliters and percents. So let's do percentage of milliliters. Of means multiply. We're going to add to it another percentage of milliliters. And together this will equal the total percentage times the total milliliters. Now all we have to do is substitute in the values that we know and then solve the equation. So the first part is 70 milliliters of 50% methane. So that is 50% times 70 milliliters. The part that we're adding is 80% of how much. So 80% is how much. We don't know. We can call that X milliliters. And the total percent is 60%. And the total milliliters will be 70 plus X. 70 plus X milliliters. And that's it. That is the equation. Let's solve this. So turn all the percents into decimals. That is 0.5 times 70 plus 0.8 times X equals 0.6 times 70 plus X. Let's simplify. 0.5 times 70, or 50% of 70, is 35. And 0.8 times X is just 0.8X equals, and now we're going to distribute 0.6 times 70 plus 0.6 times X. 0.6 times 70 is 42 plus 0.6x. And then at this point, we want to get all the x terms on one side, all the constant terms on the other. So we can move the 6x by subtracting 0.6x minus 0.6x. So we get 0.2x. And then we have 35 plus 0.2x equals 42. And then subtract 35, subtract 35. We get 0.2x equals 7. Divide both sides by 0.2. And we get x equals 7 divided by 0.2. That is 35. And remember, x represented the amount of milliliters, so 35 milliliters. Try this one. Sally and Terry blended a coffee mix that sells for $2.50 by mixing two types of coffee. If they use 40 milliliters of coffee that costs $3, how much of another coffee costing $1.50 did they mix with their first? Same deal here. We have dollars and milliliters. So we'll do dollars times milliliters of the first part plus dollars times milliliters of the second part equals the total dollars times milliliters. Okay? So we know that the mix sells for $2.50. That goes here. $2.50. And what else? We used 40 milliliters of a coffee that costs $3. That could be the first part. So the cost is $3. And the amount of milliliters is 40. How much of another coffee costing $1.50? So we know the cost is $1.50, but we don't know how much amount. That's milliliters. Call that X. Okay, and then our total here will be 40 milliliters plus X. Good. So now we just solve this equation. Simplify. 3 times 40 is 120 plus 1.5x equals, distribute the 2.5 to 40, that is 100 plus 2.5 times x, 2.5x. So let's move all the x's to one side. We can subtract the 1.5x minus 1.5x. We get 120 equals 100 plus 2.5 minus 1.5, that's a difference of 1, or just x. Then subtract 100, and you get x equals 20. So x represented the amount of milliliters of the coffee that cost $100.50. Okay, how about this one? Nick and Chloe have 2 grades of milk from their small dairy herd, one that is 24% butterfat and another that is 18% butterfat. How much of each should they use to end up with 42 liters of 20% butterfat? Let's write down our general form here. That is, we have some percent of the liters plus another percent of the other liters equals the total percent times total liters. So let's put in the pieces. We have 1 that is 24% butter fat. So that's 0.24 times x. We don't know how many liters. Another that is 18% butter fat. So that's 0.18 times different one, call that y, equals the 20% total, 0.2, times 42. And that is our equation. And we're trying to figure out both x and y, but we only have one equation, so how do we do this? The method is to use substitution. And it's hidden here in the 42. The 42, if you remember from the other examples, that is x plus y. So I know that x plus y equals 42. How does that help me? Well, I can rewrite this in terms of x. I could say y equals 42 minus x. So instead of writing y, I can just write 42 minus x. My equation here is 0.24 times x plus 0.18 times 42 minus x equals 0.2 times 42. So now I have one equation and one variable, and I can solve this. This is just 0.24x. We can distribute the 0.18 times 42, 0.18 times 42. That is 7.56 plus 7.56, and that is now minus 0.18 times x equals 0.2 times 42, 8.4. Now combine the like terms. 0.24 minus 0.18, that is 0.06x plus 7.56 equals 8.4. Then subtract 7.56 from both sides. You get 0.06x equals 8.4 minus 7.56 is 0.84. And now divide both sides by 0.06. We get x equals 14. And the units here, x, was in liters, so 14 liters. And don't forget, the question is asking how much of each should they use. So we know that x is 14. Now what is y? We said y was 42 minus x. Y is 42 minus 14. So y is 28 liters.